Hey guys, welcome to Algebra 1. Today we're going to focus on solving problems involving finding a power of a power. All that you know about exponents and multiplying and patterns are really going to go a long way with these kind of problems. Ready to get started? Let's go. Okay, to get going with these, I first want to establish a pattern for you. It's really going to help these type of problems make more sense. Okay. So knowing what you do about exponents, you know that 4 to the third power is the same as 4 times 4 times 4. If you expanded it out and looked at it as a product of its factors, right? I have the product of 3 fours, okay? So applying that knowledge, how about this one? What if I needed to raise 4 squared to the third power? Okay, so let's still just think about it like whatever's in our parentheses, that term, we're going to multiply by itself 3 times. So 4 squared raised to the third power is the same as 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared. I'm just multiplying 4 squared times itself 3 times, okay? Now let's keep breaking this down though and see what it simplifies to even more. I know that 4 squared means that I'm multiplying 4 by itself, right? So that first little bit right there, that's the same as 4 times 4. 4 squared is exactly the same thing as 4 times 4. Same thing for the middle one. That's another 4 squared. So that's another 4 times 4. And same thing for the last one. That's another 4 squared. So that's another 4 times 4. Right? With me so far? Okay. I just took that from 4 squared times 4 squared times 4 squared and broke it down even further. Because 4 squared is the same as 4 to the 4th. Same here. Same here. Okay? Now let's get rid of those parentheses so we can just look and see exactly what's going on here. So I'm just going to rewrite it without the parentheses. Just break all those 4s out of their groups. So now when I look at this expanded out, how many 4s am I multiplying by itself? Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means I could represent this as 4 to the 6th. When I expand it all out, I started at 4 squared raised to the third power. When I broke it all down, it's the same as 4 to the 6th, okay? Let's keep applying that and get through a couple more problems. I'm going to do a few of them. Bear with me. You're going to notice the pattern once I get to a certain point. Okay, so same thing, knowing what we do about exponents. If I'm raising 3 to the 4th to the second power, that means I'm multiplying 3 to the 4th by itself, right? So I'd have 3 to the 4th times 3 to the 4th, right? All right, now I'm going to expand this out and really look at it as the product of 3's. So I know that 3 to the 4th, that means I'm multiplying 3 by itself 4 times. So that first bit, that's the same as 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. 3 to the 4th, product of 4 3's. Same thing for the second bit. It's just another 3 to the 4th. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, right? I just expanded that out. Now I'm going to scrap those parentheses and just look at all these 3's and see how many I've got. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 here, multiplied by another 1, 2, 3, 4 over here. So how many 3's am I multiplying together here? Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means I could represent this as 3 to the 8th. So 3 to the 4th raised to the second power is the same thing as 3 to the 8th. Okay? Let's keep going. I wonder if you've noticed the pattern yet. If not, don't worry about it. You will. Okay. Now this one, I've got x squared raised to the 5th power. So I'm multiplying x squared by itself 5 times, right? So x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared times x squared. I bet you're starting to realize why someone wanted to find a pattern, because depending on how large those exponents are, you could be writing all day. Okay? So let's keep going with this. I know that each of those x squared means the same thing as x times x. You're just multiplying x by itself. All right, so for that first x squared, got x times x. Same for the second one. Okay, same for that third one, it's another x times x. Same for that fourth one, it's another x times x. Same for that fifth one. Oop, didn't write it, just copied it. So let's erase. There we go, bring it back. Now, I'm going to break that down. It's x times x. And that last one, x times x. Okay, so we wrote it in groups like this. Now let's break all those x's out of the parentheses and see what we're working with. So I've got x times 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 x. How many x's are you multiplying together? Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You multiplied x by itself 10 times. So that means you could represent that product as x to the 10th. So x squared raised to the 5th power is the same thing as x to the 10th. Okay? Keep with me. Now let's look at those 3 problems and their answers all together. Once we look at them all together, you may notice the pattern if you haven't already. Okay, so when we raised 4 squared to the 3rd power a few problems ago, that answer was 4 to the 6th. When we raised 3 to the 4th to the 2nd power, that answer was 3 to the 8th. And when we raised x squared to the 5th power, that answer was x to the 10th. Okay, pause me for a minute. Look at that. See if you can figure out the pattern. Do you notice any relationship between the exponents in my problem and then the exponent in the answer for each of those? Okay, pause me and think about that for a second. Okay, did you see it? Did you figure it out? This is what was going on. If you multiply these exponents together, 2 times 3, that's 6. If you multiply these together, 4 times 2, that's 8. And if you multiply these together, 2 times 5, that's 10. And that's the pattern with these. Anytime you raise a power to another power, the shortcut is to just multiply the exponents together. So you don't have to go through all that work like we did, expanding it all out, looking at all the products, looking at all those factors. You can just follow the rule for raising a power to a power, which just means the rule is just this. Whatever your power is on the inside, whatever power you're raising it to, you just multiply those exponents together. So just to say it generally, you'll probably see written like this somewhere, maybe with different letters, but a to the r raised to the s power is the same thing as a times r to the s. Just multiply your exponents together and you'll get that problem all simplified. Okay? Let's try a couple. This time we're just going to use the rule. We're not going to expand it all out. We're going to use that rule of raising a power to another power. Okay? So for this one, I see I've got 5 cubed raised to the 10th power. So all I need to do here is just multiply my exponents. Just multiply the exponents. That is the shortcut here. So 3 times 10, that's 30. So that means that this simplifies to 5 to the 30th. If we really took the time to expand that all out and write all those 5s, you would be multiplying 35s together. Nobody wants to multiply 35s together, so you can just represent it like this, 5 to the 30th. Okay? Let's try a couple more. All right, I've got p to the third raised to the 11th power. So remember, just multiply your exponents together. I'll come off to the side. 3 to the 11, or 3 times 11, that's 33. So that means that this simplifies to p to the 33rd power. You're all done. That'd be your answer right there. P cubed raised to the 11th power is the same as p to the 33rd. All right, let's keep going. All right, it's your turn. So look at these. Go ahead and pause me. See how you do with these problems. When you're ready to compare your answers, press play, and we'll see how we did. Okay, ready to check? Let's see. So 3 to the 9th raised to the 2nd power, that is the same as 3 to the 18th. And w to the 7th raised to the 5th power, that's the same as w to the 35th. If you want to see how I did those, just in case you got something different, here's what it did. Okay, so 3 to the 9th squared. I'm raising a power to another power. So just multiply my exponents together. 9 times 2, that's 18. So that means that this simplifies to 3 to the 18th. All done. Okay? That next one, I had w to the 7th raised to the 5th power. So just multiply those exponents together. 7 times 5, that's 35. So that means this simplifies to w to the 35th. And you're all done. All right? All right, guys. Hope you mastered how to solve problems involving having to raise a power to another power. Remember, just apply your rule of multiplying your exponents together. And I hope to see you back here soon for some more Algebra 1. Bye.